Oval. Both the Brighton Bombers and Tea Tree Gully, long trip between the two, will hit the floor running. And I know one thing's for sure, we as commentators are also ready to hit the floor running and see what Brett Backwell and Justin Machota have to offer in the coaching box. Welcome to our game day coverage brought to you by Make Sure Ratify. You're here with Indiana Rogers, and for the first time working with him, my co-commentator, Matt Gale.
Thanks for having me on board, Indy. It's interesting conditions, to say the least, down here at Brighton Oval today. We have some wintry, blustery and rainy conditions, and it should be a huge clash between the home side, which is on 8th position, and the 5th place, Tea Tree Gully, who have had a couple of ordinary weeks, to say the least.
Absolutely, and it will be a big day ahead because, of course, Brighton are continuing to try and help themselves stay distant from St. Peter's and Old Iggy's and avoid any potential for relegation. And, well, Tea Tree, they're in the 5, but they're falling a little out of touch with the top 4, so they want to really bounce back today, and they'd be looking to put together a very strong performance. Of course, we got many game day sponsors today, including Farmers Leap, Archie Thongs, Roll the Dice and Banner Crew, and a couple more that you're going to take us through, Matt.
Yeah, certainly are. We've got the Adelaide Football League. We thank them for their ongoing support. Buddy Bet, gamble responsibly. We'll get onto our Buddy Bet very shortly. The scoreboard brought to you by Sportal and all of the wonderful stats that Dartfish provide right across the league. And before we go any further, the conditions this afternoon, as we mentioned, very wintry conditions at the moment. The cricket pitch, as you can probably see on our broadcast coverage, is very, very wet, and we expect that to be a bit of a mud pit. Plenty of muddy areas within the actual facility this afternoon, particularly in front of both goal mouths. We probably see that will be a difficult position, and they'll need to play outside of that hot spot as the game progresses. The conditions this afternoon, it's currently 13.9 degrees, feels like 9 degrees, 4 to 9 millimetres of rain predicted this afternoon. I'm sure that'll play a factor as the game progresses. Blustery conditions with winds up to 35 degrees. We're not really sure which way this wind's going to favour. It's probably to the Sportal scoreboard end, but that could turn around as the game plays out. Now, before we go any further, our Buddy Bet gamble responsibly. Today I'm going to have $5 on both teams kicking under 10 goals each. That's right, it's an unusual one. With these conditions, we saw in the Magoos just a little bit area. 3 goals beat 2 goals with a heap of stack of points between them. But yeah, I don't think the team that wins today will probably kick more than 8 or 9 goals, and it'll be a low scoring affair, that is for sure.
Yes, a big afternoon coming up. It's great to see the teams warming up out there. It's actually the junior teams running out with the seniors today. We saw one of the junior squads running out with those A graders, so that was a nice sight to see for the home team. Players to watch out for. Thomas Wellsby has kicked 15 goals this year. He's in the upper echelon of goal kickers in the league, and he's been one of the few bright lights on this otherwise pretty grim Brighton Bombers season so far. But don't write off Peter Persinos either, one of the 2 Persinos brothers out there alongside Jordan. He's put together a 12-goal season, and he'll be out to add more to that tally. Of course, we'd be damned not to mention Tyler Martin either, because he's a top 3 ranked player according to Play HQ, and one of Tea Tree Gully's best. It's also great to see Luke Brown back out there playing, hopefully at full fitness this time. We know he's had some injury setbacks throughout the year, but the former Crow can definitely be a valuable asset for that team. Well, Matt, what are your predictions for today?
I'm actually going to go with Tea Tree Gully to bounce back into the winners' circle this afternoon. Brighton were very, very good a couple of weeks ago before the June long weekend. I watched them play against PAC, and they were very competitive for a half before they were sort of blown out of the water in the second half. Tea Tree Gully, from my understanding from Tommy Javor, one of our resident commentators and one of the best commentators in the Adelaide Footy League, he mentioned that Tea Tree Gully had up to 10 players out to a wedding in their last clash. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get themselves back on track, because they were definitely a top 4 team early doors, but they've drifted away and are just clinching onto that 5th position as we speak. They'll need a win today. I wouldn't be surprised if Brighton does beat them at home, but it'll be played out in the engine room. And Brett Backwell is a magnificent coach. He's a dual Magarey medalist, played football with Carlton earlier in his career, and he's coached PAC as well to a premiership. So they've got plenty going on the coach's box, and Tea Tree Gully will need to be on top of their game today to get a victory.
So we're just awaiting the opening bounce at this stage and slowly waiting for the two captains to come in for the coin toss. As we established earlier when Matt gave the update on the conditions, there's a very wet and dewy pig pen in the middle of the ground, otherwise known as a cricket pitch, although when it's June it goes by other terms, and of course that just shows that winter has definitely arrived and the wettest conditions of the year. They're unforgiving sometimes here in Adelaide, and we can get some very strong rains down here. And even the beautiful groundskeepers at Brighton Oval won't be able to keep the grass safe from this torrential amount of rain that we're yet to get throughout the next few months, you'd think. Players continuing to warm up. The juniors also residing in the middle of the ground and just hanging around a little bit with some of the other higher-ups and leaders from Brighton's A-grade team. I can see Jarman Segal and Nigel Osborne in there with some of the juniors around them. A couple of staff officials also there. Of course, they're amazing facilities here at Brighton. They might only be 8th on the ladder, but I would put them at the top of my personal ladder when it comes to ranking the venues of our current Div 1 teams. And you can see in the background the lacrosse club far in the distance. There's a rugby oval behind us, but what we're paying attention to today is what's in front of us, the very nice football ground, and we're up in some very favourable stands here. It's a massive privilege to be at Brighton Oval. Really looking forward to the game ahead. Teams continuing to warm up. So just an update as well for those curious. The Div 1 Reserves game finished with a scoreline of 25 points to 21 Brighton's way. They had to come from behind, although it was 3 goals 7 to 2 goals 9. That really speaks volumes for the conditions, Matt. It really does show that there's a lot of inaccuracy to fight when it comes to the rain. Yes,
it's going to be difficult. Goals when they're like diamonds this afternoon, and suspect if a team can get 3 or 4 goals on the board early, that could pave the way to a victory either way. I'm looking forward to seeing how Penny goes in the ruck this afternoon with shoal makers. They've got a pretty formidable outfit, and we've got Luke Brown, former Adelaide Crows player. He's probably been back for 2 or 3 weeks now. He did his hamstring in the first game after kicking 2 goals and having 20-odd possessions in the first half. So he'll be really important, and that engine room will probably be the driving force behind Teacher Gully if they're to have a fortuitous day out away from their home deck. For Brighton, it's the usual faces, and they'll definitely miss their captain Otis Carthy this afternoon. I suspect will be looking to bounce back. He was kept goalless in their last encounter against PAC. He was very well held there. And Jared Miller's got 9 goals this season, so that's where their goals are expected to come from. And Dwayne McGarry. So McGarry's been a real pivotal force back in the defensive line, along with Ty Murphy's been superb form as well. So looking forward to seeing Pistol Personoff get some goals on the board early. He can go missing in games. He kicked 4 ripping goals in round 1 against Old Iggy's, and he'll be looking to get on the scorer sheet early doors. And also Tyler Martin, as we mentioned earlier, he's been superb this season. But yeah, it's going to be an enthralling game. Obviously, the courageous Alex McKay in the middle. He's won a couple of medals in this league, and the perfect conditions for him to get his junkyard dog outfit out today, because he'll be up at where the business end is when this is going to play it, and expect him to play a big part in this afternoon's proceedings.
So Brighton already involved in a huddle. Tea Tree just fitting in the last of their warm-ups here. The rain's eased off for the moment, but we're expecting much more throughout the afternoon, so we hope wherever you're watching from you are warm and safe. And obviously, ahead of the conditions for this season, we'll need to be mindful of how bad it could potentially get. And the juniors are also clearing off the ground now. Goal umpires in the centre of the ground, just awaiting the 2 specimens ready to come in for the coin toss. Nigel Osborne just looking off there and checking if anyone's ready to come out, but so far not quite. So we have slow build-ups to games like this, and an extra slow build-up for this one because, as you know, we came off of our bye round for the Adelaide Footy League. No football was played across any of the divisions last weekend for the men's league, but we are looking forward to resuming with proceedings this weekend, and of course for many more to come until the stretch at the end of the year and the finals, of course. We'll also be returning to Between the Posts next Tuesday night, and you can catch that with Tony, Neil and I, which will be a very big privilege for those viewing as well as those participating. Doing our very special interviews. We'll decide Coach of the Week at the end of this weekend when we decide on, of course, who came out the best performance.
And Shoal Makers has won the toss, and Teacher Gully have decided to kick to the southern end, and Brighton will kick to the Sportal scoreboard end as well. So fascinating game about to get underway.
Yeah, it's hard to toss a coin in that cricket pitch like we said, but it looked like Osborne was spending a bit of extra time there just with the umpires to make sure of that one. Of course, this will be what we think is a favourable matchup for Tea Tree Gully, but I'm going to go out on a limb today. I'm going to predict that the Brighton Bombers can cause an upset at their home venue with tough conditions. It's going to be a low-scoring slog either way, so it won't be measured by forward firepower. It'll be measured by grit and depth. So that'll make it particularly interesting. Of course, both the coaches, Brett Batwell and Justin Machota, both some of the better coaches who have established themselves over the last few years across this league, but I think in this particular instance, Justin Machota could be a contender for Coach of the Year when we think about it, the way he's been able to get a nice lift out of this Tea Tree Gully's team, which was just shy of missing the finals last year. So was Brighton, to be fair, and you could see how different the progression of each team is. But that's not important now. What's important is the round ahead of us, round 8 action coming your way. But make sure Ratify Stream Team happy to bring you action from Brighton Oval for the next few hours. Everybody getting into position. It's a cold day, so make sure you've got double pairs of socks on, some gloves handy, and a beanie, of course. Particularly the Dartfish beanie, if you're feeling cheeky and privileged. But we're looking forward to it nonetheless. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think there'll be any bouncing on the turf from the umpire there. So it'll just be thrown up as simple today. You can see there's linings for 3 different centre circles, but only one will be solidified. So here we go, round 8 action underway. Ruck's going at it. Just got the tap down with Draper. Players fighting through it from the mud. Tea Tree get the clearance. Nice defensive effort there, came from Murphy. And players just piling in. We're on the line of the centre square, favouring Tea Tree's forward end to the right of screen. And already that shows that even winning the toss isn't going to guarantee any sort of territorial advantage. Once again, fighting through the midst of it. Osborne passes out to Tate. He goes with a long one, clears it out. Just shy of the forward line and also shy of the target. Tea Tree will take possession back through a couple of handball chains. The kick was a little undercooked, but it might still make its way to a teammate. It'll be difficult, but a call is made the other way, in fact. So it must have been either incorrect disposal or holding the ball, one or the other. Doesn't matter now. What matters is that Brighton can send it forward for their first forward 50 entry at the game. Crumbing it. Oh, getting involved there. Was that Wellesby? Well, whoever it was didn't make a fair decision in time, and as a result, they've turned the ball back to the other team.
So the turnover off that Wellesby free kick. Ball kicks off the ground. So Tea Tree Gully in a 2-on-2. The other player slipped over in his attempt to try and shepherd. Should be given hold in the ball. Umpire calls play on. Interesting call. He's not really on top of the action. And Brighton get a clear mark. And some excellent work back here by Chalmers. Chalmers at right, left half back, kicks down the line. Look for a target in Bastion. Gets his hands on it, can't take the mark. Some strong tackling there by Warner. And the umpire says, I'll ball it up. Left half forward. No score on the board for School at this stage. Kenny got his hands on the ball early, and on this occasion it is Draper. So they suspect the ball's going to be on the ground early doors. And if I was in either of the coaching boxes, I'd say we'd limit the ball to one pass this afternoon and get it on at all costs. So Penny gets his hands on the ball again, looking to clear the ball. Looked like a high tackle, nothing doing for Tea Tree Gully. Comes out now. There's a player out the back here in Chalmers again. Gives it off to O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin, quick snap on his left foot boot. Tempted mark, and it's a juggler. And it's taken right on the paint. Goes inboard, a beautiful chiselling kick. And we've got a mark about 40 metres out for Brighton, who look to get the first score on the board. So some impressive movement with their ball. And a nice strong mark taken by Jack Plenty. Sorry, make that Jake Plenty. So Plenty, he's going to have to give it plenty to make the distance and probably have to give it his best kick. Man on the mark's about 38 from home. Pretty measured approach here from Plenty. Bit of a strutter, deliberate approach, gives it everything, and it's a beautiful kick as he slots it straight through the middle. And Brighton open the Sportal scoreboard. 1 goal straight, 3 minutes gone. Teacher Gully yet to score.
Fantastic set shot action there by Brighton and Jack Plenty. Let's hope he gets plenty more this afternoon. I'm sure that's an overused joke at this stage, and I'm sure he'd hate it, but well, that does put him as an early contender for the beanie. Of course, we always mention on these live streams that we do that the best player on the ground will get a pair of Archie Stongs and a Dartfish beanie. But that's a long way off at the moment. It's a good start for Brighton, though. Can they carry that momentum? They lost the first centre clearance. They win this one. Comes out wide. Coming onto it with lots of pace was Aaron Warner. He assesses the options. Doesn't look super confident in making the roost himself, although he is taking a bit of time to run back. In fact, he's slowing up. He may even just point it up to the tip of the square or go the journey on its own. It's got the roost. Not quite. In fact, right on the line it was. Oh, almost tackled without it. He was tackled without it. Teachery a little trigger happy with the pressure there. Brighton will get another set shot, this time from a much easier angle, you'd think. So just a bit of panic there over some of Brighton's crummers.
Yeah, the big ruckman, Blake Penny, overcommitted and got him high on the... He just didn't have the ball. He was about to grab the ball and played it well. Fantastic forward craft.
So Jake Tarker to make it a score from a centre clearance. He does. Spinning ball, it doesn't matter how you get them, it's if you get them, and he does.
So Jake Tarker, a late inclusion into this team this afternoon from Brighton, and looks like he's kicked his first goal for the club. So a very impressive start for him. He drew the free kick from Penny. He's probably not your usual type to be tackling right at the top of the goal square for his team. So Penny trying to add some physicality, overcommitted, and Tarker kicks a goal with his first kick at league footy for the Brighton Bombers. So brilliant start on the Sportal scoreboard. 5.5 down first term. It's 2 goals, 12 plays, no score to Teachery Gully. So some strong tackling, and we suspect there will be some repeated ball ups in that centre square, and the mud will continue to grow. Penny taps it down, gets it out towards, and the umpire's found a free kick, and it'll go in the favour of Osborne. So he's been a busy customer, courageous ball gatherer. And he gets his kick to half forward, just kicks it just inside the arc. No mark taken, ball comes to ground. Nice clear hand pass there from the Teachery Gully defence. They get it towards their wing and Osborne chips it off again.
So Osborne having a lot of early possession, gets it to Plenty, and he's halted up, puzzled as to what to do next. Brighton with a handy early start here. That wasn't a very handy kick. It was almost turned over. Illingworth might be able to make sure it isn't, although his hand pass may be a little bit too slow. He gets the support he needs though. Ball touched, it'll stay in. Players fighting for it on the far side over there, and it might just spill over the boundary line or be called a ball up before anything supernatural can happen. So Brighton, one of their few wins this year was at this ground. It's against St. Peter's many rounds ago. We won't get too many more opportunities to win games this year, you'd think, although they're definitely looking better than the current bottom two, and they want to keep extra distance from that mix. Clearance attempt smothered there, so they're having a bit of trouble in the ruck, I reckon, Teachery, even with the hit-out advantage. Ball finds its way forward, barreling in with some of the crummers. Coming out with it was Chalmers. Chalmers goes the distance. He got the bending action really nice. He wasn't able to hit the target, but it's a small win because they will at the very least get a forward stoppage. Some
great pressure there by Brighton. They've got their system in place. Brett Backwell got plenty of numbers behind the ball and they're positioned well. So boundary throw in, 10 metres out from the Brighton goal. Wellesby goes up. Fair few players around this pill at the moment. Ball gets scooped out of that hand pass there. Ball comes towards Tarka. Can he get his second? No, he can't, and the ball lands out of play and on the full. So a little bit of relief here for Tea Tree Gully. Been under a fair bit of duress thus far. Nice clearing kick in that back pocket. There's another player on. He goes over the top and should find the target in Robinson. Robinson hands off. So they go for a long kick down the line. Beautiful looking kick. It's a fair old roost. Comes to the half forward flank. Wilson hand passes over the top. Goes over to Ash McKay. Should slot through the first for Tea Tree Gully, and he does. Damaging player, McKay. And the Joe the Goose over the top, and he's going to make you pay every day of the week. Tea Tree Gully on the board on the Sportal scoreboard. Almost 9 minutes down. It's 2 straight 12. Plays 1 goal 6.
Tea Tree Gully's first score in that instance from a defensive half transition. Very nicely done in the end. They managed to find the extra man with a combination of efforts from Robinson and McKay. And Joshua Spence also having a bit of involvement. So the number 5s for both the teams having a lot of possession early on. Tea Tree needed to hit back because Ball was spending most of its time up until this point in Brighton's forward half. It'll go the other way this time, potentially through the clearance. Taking on the tackle, Osborne, very brave and very classy with that. He managed to get it out. Broadbent's kick, not the greatest. It's toe poked further along that far side wing, and Tea Tree more than happy to just see it treat over the boundary line right in front of the scoreboard. Our Sportal sponsored scoreboards all across the country for these games. We're getting to the 9-minute, 50-second mark by what it looks like in the distance there. Buckman go at it. No favourable tap. It's actually an attempt to grab it out. If that pressure maintains, but they find escape with Zach Mackay. One of the 2 Mackays out there, and there's another set of brothers you might see in a little bit. Peter Personos, being the other brother, will actually get the free kick. Gaines didn't claim he had much of a prior opportunity. He stepped off his mark, so he's got to get and go. Maybe not his most preferred kick, and the result shows for that because it's been marked by Ty Murphy. What can Brighton conjure up from the defensive half?
So Francis in his halfback. Not real sure where he's going to go. That heads out towards Warner in a 2-on-1. Ball comes to ground. Want to limit these hand passes, and Schoenmakers didn't really do that with his. Nice kick by O'Loughlin on a one-hander. Sensational mark there. So look, they've got a switch on. They've got to cut the players on with the switch. Ball comes out towards Flynn. So Joshua Flynn goes inward, finds a big ruckman, and Penny can't take the mark. Sticky fingers, not today. And Warner just walks inside 50. Can he make them pay? And it just goes to the left-hand side. So Brett Back will be definitely proud of his charges so far. They've made a brilliant start on the Sportal score. 2-1, 13 plays 1 goal straight. 11 and a half minutes gone first term.
Opportunity gone by there. The run from Weecher was fantastic. The finish not so much. So Tea Tree suddenly under the pump a little bit. It's taken them a while to get things going. They can score from the defensive half. That's the only way they've done it in this game so far. But they could turn it over from there too. Using the space well there. McGarry, not the best kick. Will come back the other way. Might roll over the boundary line here. It will, in fact, too tight for us to catch because right now it just seems like both these teams willing to grind out the storm. So fans watching from all angles. We've actually got kids making their own grandstand on the playground at the moment to watch this game. Gives them a favourable view of the action. Ball comes out. No ruck contest winner, but Luke Brown, the former Crow, to rush out with it. Long kick, as he was known to doing with the Crows, but not a favourable one. Plenty back in the defence. quick to kick it around the body. He's got an extra number if he can get it out to Osborne, and Osborne can get it out to a teammate in handy with Tate. He was forced to toe poke it along the deck and not favourably. Eventually, Jared Miller will be seen over the boundary line with Sharon in hand.
So solid start here by Brighton. Ball to be thrown at just at the in front of the left-hand side wing, favouring the tea tree gully in. Ball's thrown in. Nice body work there by Penny. Gets a double fister along the boundary line. Could retreat here, but the ball trickles out of play, and we'll have a secondary throw in. So an uncanny mistake almost proved costly for Big Buckets Penny in the previous play. We're looking to get another goal here on the rebound. Nice tap there by Penny, flicked out the back, socket off the ground, a little obscure, and a secondary socket off the ground. Comes out towards Personoff, beautiful hand pass under the slippery conditions. There's a 450 entry here for Tea Tree Gully. Should get repelled straight away. Could have paid as a throw. Umpire not really in a position to make a call. Personoff sweeps onto his left foot, kicks inside 50, no one home. Looking for a bit of extra pressure at the ground level, and they find that. Can they get it back inside 50? Looking for a bit of a cleaner disposal. Could have been a free kick, not paid. Comes out to the Brighton left half back, and a beautiful tackle. Not going anywhere, and an excellent tackle there by Ashley Tucker. So Tucker will look for a target inside 50. Penny's entered the fray. He'll be looking for him. Goes towards him now. Penny, can he take a mark? No, ball comes to ground. Trickles off hand, and it'll be a boundary thrown about 15 metres out from the Tea Tree Gully goal.
Ashley Tucker with one of the tackles of the game so far there. Saved Brighton from potentially getting out. It's in dangerous territory now. We call it the red zone in NFL because right now it's right in front of the goals. To be thrown in. And to get the tap again. He's won most of the taps, but not so much the clearance work. Nigel Osborne wrapping up his man. Maybe a bow to go with the gift. Another ball up. Once again, residing close to Tea Tree's goal. Penny with the tap again. Some nice handball transition there. Broadbent was caught in the midst of it. Higgins was desperate to dispose of it too. Tea Tree players continue to pile in. The tackling pressure really good here. And it'll be one back. It'll be one back through Martin. He kicked it away to the goal square, but the Bombers were waiting. McGarry takes a bit of time with the kick. Hoists it out to his favoured side. It misses the target, but he's got a couple on the run. As long as they can weed through the boundary line, but they can't pick it up cleanly. That shows the conditions out there. It's going to make the simple things hard. And simple things will come back to the throw-in on the far side of the ground, where 15 and a half minutes gone in the opening term.
So solid defensive work there from the Brighton Brickhouse. McGarry. Ball will be thrown in at true centre wing. Penny's had the upper hand of this contest so far in the ruck. Comes out the back. Nice kick inside 50. Deep entry. Looking for a target. Nothing doing. The umpire's found a free kick. They played on. Excellent work. Brighton playing well behind the play. Sweeping hand pass comes out towards Murphy. Been one of their most consistent performers this year. Nice kick, and he finds that man Tarka, who kicked the secondary goal for the match in his first kick for the Brighton Bombers. Tarka, a low drilling ball, and he finds Wellesby. Wellesby a long way from home. Beautiful looking kicks, got a couple of options on. Can't find his target. Ball comes to ground. Here's one for the kick off the ground attempt. And unfortunately, it is a rush behind, but plenty of momentum in favour of the home team. Brighton Bombers.
Absolutely. Whoever rode the bump on Illingworth there did a really good job because he could have socketed off the deck for a goal had he not applied that extra pressure. And suddenly, Tea Tree out. No one is going with this man. They get it off eventually. Tucker went forward. Brighton once again with a good defensive system in place, have some favourable numbers, but they were under pressure there. Loy had almost no time to get rid of it. Tea Tree are still trying, almost pulling it in towards the turf to make the crumb even more difficult because Brighton still had the numbers. Eventually they soccer it off. Maybe not the easiest way out, but it's one way out. They get some transition going. Very nice kick going down the far wing, although it won't hit the target. I think Tyler Martin happy to see it over the boundary line just to catch a breath for a little moment.
as the commentators get their breaths as well. Been a great start here by Brighton on their home deck. Almost 18 minutes down, first term. 2-2 plays 1 goal straight on the scoreboard in favour of the home team. Nice tap down there. And the ball will trickle out of play. Big shout out to Oliver McNeely playing his first game for the Tea Tree Gully Footy Club this afternoon. And he's into the ruck at the moment. So he's up against Wellesby. Wellesby spikes it, but in the opposite direction. And actually gains about 10 metres for Tea Tree Gully. So Tea Tree Gully be desperate for a goal as we head towards time on first term. Nice throw in. McNeely gets his hands on the ball, comes out, hand pass out the back. Nice work there. Can they got a player playing in front? They do. Kicks over his shoulder. McKay's on, playing above his height. He's excellent at ground level. Can he get his hands on it here? Desperate plunge there by McKay, but it's a snap by Personoff and it will trickle out. And with this current ruling, it'll be a free kick for last possession out of bounds.
Personoff still on 12 goals for the year. Looking to get that next elusive one. Climb up the tally for leading goal kickers in Div 1. And despite having most of the territory dominance, Tea Tree still yet to score in these last 10 minutes or so. At the 19-minute mark. They might get another chance here, although high looping balls like that aren't easy to mark in these conditions. Brighton with the setup. Maybe not as much with the plan as to where to go next. Justin Evans happy to see the Sharon over the line once again. That's a huge lacrosse score for the home team in the background, 17-2. But our scoreboard reads 2 goals 2-14 to 1 goal 0-6. Tea Tree fighting to stay in. It's not coming easy. And what about that pressure? That was absolutely superb. It could even lead to a score, although the toe poke maybe wasn't as wise. Oh, Miller couldn't pick it up on the other side. They keep it alive momentarily. Miller trying to fight his way out of trouble. Using the asset of Warner, they're still climbing into it. Tea Tree have managed to get the numbers back in time. They just can't handle to their targets as cleanly as they'd like. Now they've got to go tight on the line. Was that Ben Tate taking a kick high up? Once again, no mark. Bounced off the turf. Still fighting for it. Tea Tree with a brief clearance. Osborne was coming in for the intercept. Didn't quite take it. And now Tea Tree, are they off with some handball traffic? They almost are. But another soccer along the ground. A lot of these low kicks today. It's chaos ball out there. No one can get an easy kick to a target at the moment. Eventually the players pile in. Surely the umpire's going to call a ball up. He does, but he was patient with the contest.
So pushing towards time on first term. Just looking further afield, it's hard to see where Tea Tree Gully are going to get their goals except for a counter-attack at the moment because Brighton are well structured behind the ball. Umpire's found a free kick. And that recipient is Sigel. Sigel kicks deep inside forward 50, looking for a target. That man was Warner, couldn't take the mark. Hand pass over the back, Russell Ebert style. Not fortuitous here for Tea Tree Gully. There's a plethora of bodies around this pill. Quick kick out of play. And again, Brighton well set up. And that man is Mick Garry, the brick house from Brighton. Can't get past him, and if you're going to get past him, you're going to have to earn it today. So Mick Garry kicks inside 50, not his best kick, an awkward one. A push in the side and a fortuitous one. And normally that would be in the back, but it was clearly in the side and a strong mark taken there by Draper. So Draper had a terrific outing against PAC only a couple of weeks back before the mid-season bye. And he kicked a couple of goals on that day, even though his side went well and truly down on the scoreboard. So Draper, can he thread through another one? Be magnificent start here for Brighton on their home deck if he can. Man on the mark's about 30 metres from home. Take his best kick, difficult angle for a right footer, and he's pulled it to the near side. And on the Sportal scoreboard, it's 2-3-15, plays 1 goal straight.
15 points to 6. Late into the quarter. 22 and a half gone. No mark. Penny managed to work his man well though. Brighton once again with extra numbers back. That was a bit of a throwish hand pass there from Broadbent. They ran themselves into some more trouble. Cansdall managed to get it out to Brown, who goes with a long kick. Another inside 50 entry for the quarter. They were wrapped up well though back there, and Ben Tate turns it over. Oh, that's his worst kick of the day, and probably one of the worst team kicks of the day so far. Zach Mackay can take a set shot now for Teatree and potentially punish the home team at the opposite end after all the work they were doing to keep the ball in possession, but he doesn't hit his target either, and Tyler Martin let it go, wasn't able to get onto the end of it. This is really turning out to be a bit of a slog at the moment.
It's 1 to 2 minutes away from the siren sounding here at Brighton Oval for term 1. Ball thrown in, 45 from home for Teatree Gully. McNeely doing some solid work in his first game for the Gullies. Slippery hand pass out, looks towards Personoff. No mark taken, ball comes to ground. They're going to need some fleet footers to kick some goals this afternoon, Teatree Gully, because they don't have a lot of big men resting up there. Some solid forward pressure, holding the ball inside their forward 50. And the ball will be thrown in about 25 from home. 54 seconds. So we've just got the timekeeper's box right next to us at our Dartfish Sports commentary box. Some strong tackling. We'll have a throw up now after a throw in. And can Teatree Gully sneak a late one? Nice tap work there by McNeely. Ball comes down. Umpire's found a free kick and it's in favour of Teatree Gully. This will be a disappointing result because Mackay, the Ash variety, will line up for his second. And he's the only one that looks like kicking a goal at the moment for Teatree Gully. It's very hard to see them kicking a lot of goals unless they get it through Mackay at the moment, because he's the only player that's playing as a permanent forward. They're pushing everyone up outside of the 50 and keeping him at home, but Brighton very well structured thus far. Be disappointed if he can slot one just before the quarter time siren. Mackay comes in, nice looking kick, goes across the face of the goals, almost a falcon off the head there, and trickles through for a behind. 8 seconds.
25 minutes gone. It's been a long quarter, this one. Maybe not the longest out there, but in terms of what we've had to witness, so close the team's got so many times to really blowing out one way or the other, but a lack of conversion has led this game to be in a perfectly poised position. Tate working with Osborne. Is there time for something late? You wouldn't think so. They continue to weed their way through traffic. Find one through Miller. They keep going. That's not the best forward entry, though, and it's gone far too deep along the boundary line. And but another missed opportunity. Story of the quarter.
So 36 seconds remaining on the Sportal scoreboard. Time clock. Sportal can claim the time clock here this afternoon as well. No sponsor for that. It's going to be difficult to see someone take a Bianco mark of the week under these conditions this afternoon. So with 36 seconds, probably not going to see a goal from Teatree Gully, as you wouldn't have thought, but can the home side sneak a late one? Solid kick out there from the last line of defence from that kick in. Teatree Gully kicked off the ground, smart football in these conditions. Can they hold it in? Strong body work there by Warner, throwing himself around. Did he earn a free kick? No, umpire says throw it in. So that's probably it for quarter number one. And just looking in the distance, there's goals galore at the lacrosse, but only 3 on the Sportal scoreboard in the first term. Nice tap work. Ball comes to ground. Great work there by Teatree Gully. Be very hard. Time must be almost getting the better of all comers. Ball comes to ground, comes out the back to Penny. Penny has a little bit of time. Nicely weighted kick. Can Mackay make something out of nothing? Comes from deep. He's kicked it off the ground. Siren should sound. And unfortunately, the ball stops on all ends about 15 metres from home. And on the Sportal scoreboard, it'll be a very happy Brett Backwell. 2-3-15 Brighton Bombers to 1-1-7. We'll come back after these key messages.
Nicely done.
Just keep it Teatree Gully.
Yeah.
You can't tell the big order. I'd rather be quality on the
Three goals scored. I put dots on players to keep an eye out for.
I'd still dots each quarter to give me a bit of a clear understanding of the 3-2-1.
Yeah, I think Nigel Osborne would be up there.
Yeah, I thought so. It was easy to do, so I thought Gary's pretty solid for that. They don't really get much of the voting, although I think it's 4 votes and 3 votes. Because you get every time we
I actually don't know how the
we did some work in our fees after bit of a coming from. We did about 5-6 weeks after. A great game. No, just another invasion game. So if you're good at playing invasion, you get a real match of food. All I noticed was something I haven't seen sliding material.
Oh, he missed it again, didn't he? This guy doesn't enjoy it, right? I don't even deserve the job.
Yeah, always a bit old though, he's getting...
Look this, we got someone better. Gilbert's gonna, he plays the ball, he's gonna press it, hey? You tell him when?
We got 127.
No, I don't do super coach or fantasy, but I used to do tipping, not anymore.
Yeah, after this year, I think I'm going to play for series.
Yeah.
What time is their game start? 4 o'clock. That's a late start for a Saturday game. But with the boys, I just still don't understand how the AFL can have games that overlap in this day and age.
Yeah.
On any given day. Now, they should have clean air every single night. On those Sundays, there's always 3 games.
Yeah.
Overlap. Even 2 Saturday night games, if you've got a blockbuster, I know you can sneak it interstate game, it really has nothing.
There's not a single game on TV tonight. They're both runners on 7.
Right. That's a been a KO win. It's having KO issues. Although I'm going to a school quiz night tonight, which I'm not really ramped up to go to.
Should we get back on?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Welcome back to Brighton Oval. The score's 2 goals 3-15 for the home team to just 1 goals 1-7. Brighton looking to cause one of the upsets of the week and potentially the year here if they can find a way to hold on. But tell you what, I don't think it was a particularly dominant quarter from either team, because despite the efforts of Nigel Osborne and then on the other hand from Tyler Martin, star midfielders can't make up for the lack of skill sets in conditions like this. And I reckon Matt Gale might have been correct. I think both teams probably going to score under 10 goals today.
Yeah, it looks as though that's going to be the case, and hopefully this quarter the rain holds off, because they should make hay while the sun shines. There's not going to be any sunshine this afternoon, but make the most of similar semi-dry conditions, we'll say. So it'll be interesting to see if Tea Tree Gully actually change up their forward line structure. They only had the one man up there, which was Ash McKay, and I'd like to see him injected into the engine room. That's his best position on the ground. He may be carrying injury that we're unaware of, but it looks as though we may have Robinson going deep into the forward line for Tea Tree Gully. Played a bit further up the ground in the first term. To bring on the second quarter action, back to you, Indy.
And second quarter action about to get underway. It'll be very exciting to see if the pace of the game can change a little bit in this quarter. And hopefully that means for the better. Stick and bounce for the second quarter. Brighton, they come out the back end, but they'll be able to find their foot if they're clever. Higgins goes out towards Jack Francis, who we didn't see too much of in the opening term. Could be a good time for him to get involved, but not like that. Terrible kick, dangerous turnover into the corridor. Tichy will rush it into the forward line. Brighton need to come in with some last-minute efforts to save themselves, and they do. Higgins goes out, finds a man out wide. They take a breath after that almost blunder. They slow up for a little bit. Warner looks inside. That's another dangerous kick towards the corridor. It was almost marked as well by Tucker. Eventually dropped, and it'll be a ball up on the verge of the arc.
Fantastically called there by Indiana Rogers. It's not the sort of day to be looking for a 45 or go inside the corridor. Really good tap out there. We've got some numbers on, and that man is Francis. Francis tries to get his hand pass towards Draper. The big man gives it off as well. Combination of hand passes. They've done well to get thus far down the field with a string of hand passes. Looking for a deep inside 50 entry. Goes over the back. Looks like Tarka. So there was a lot of drift with that ball, and fortuitously it's landed in his lap. And he'll line up for his second. So Tarka very impressive in the first quarter. Played as a high half forward from what we can gather. Took a ball up near the wing here or towards half back, and he'll line up for his second. Pretty much straight in front, 30 metres out. Can he slot it? And it's straight through the high diddle. And on the Sporter scoreboard, it's a really impressive start here by Brighton. 3-3-21. Plays 1-1-7. And on the Sporter scoreboard, that's a very handy 14-point buffer.
Brighton get the early jump. And so is their lacrosse team over there. 21 points to 5. It'll be hard to come back that way for the visitors.
Still trying to work out whether one goal accounts for one, or a penalty counts one, or a goal counts for 2 points. Very hard to work it out.
We apologise to our lacrosse viewers out there who might have, been a little bit annoyed to know that. Anyway, Nigel Osborne trying to get through the corridor.
Gilbert, we got the cameras up here and stuff. It's hard to kicking the ball up.
Not the best of his kicks, although Illingworth can still mop it up. Nearly falls over.
Sorry, boys.
No, you're right.
It'll be a ball up on the far end. So, just a bit of chaos there almost.
Bit of licorice, all sorts in the commentary box.
Unfolded in the commentary box. Oh, whistle, advantage paid. Brighton are going to get a lead out here, and in the midst of all that chaos, Aaron Warner managed to find himself with some nice distance. Now, he had a shot earlier in the first term that didn't quite go the way he wanted to. But he's got an opportunity here. Doesn't actually waste any time with the run-up. In fact, he didn't even take 10 seconds there. He didn't need to. He's got too much class to wait. Brighton, second goal for the second quarter.
Outstanding kick from the 50-metre arc there from Aaron Warner. And it looks like conditions suit him. He's up and about this afternoon. Spring-heeled left footer who registers his first for this afternoon, and a really impressive scoreline here on the Sportal scoreboard for the home team. It's 4-3-27, a 20-point lead now. 1-1-7 Gully. As we mentioned, it's looking hard to see where the goals are coming from, but not to matter because Brighton's got all the action down the other end. Draper goes up against Jolly. Nice tap over his head there was Penny, not Jolly. And the umpire will have secondary throw up, back where he started. Nice tap there by Penny. Ball comes to ground. Some strong tackling at ground level. And if we're looking for possessions, I think the umpire between them will have more throw-ups than any other player with ball in hand this afternoon. Good tap there by Penny. Ball comes to ground. Comes out the back here. Nice little hand pass over the top. Comes over to Luke Brown. Luke Brown gets a kick inside 50. Nothing on with Robinson. And the ball looks like it's going to be held up. Gang tackle. And we'll have the ball up 35 metres out from the Tea Tree Gully goal. So tap there by Draper. Looking for a player to link up with, can't find one. Comes out towards Luke Brown. Beautiful snap around his body. And a much needed goal for Tea Tree Gully. The AFL listed player. Over 100 goals, 100 games there for the Crows, has snapped through his first truly, and a much needed goal for Tea Tree Gully.
It was a much needed goal. The game high margin of 20 points has come back down to 14. 4 goals, 3, 27 to 2 goals, 1, 13. Already you feel like the pace of the game has just increased a little bit there, and another play almost determined by an active centre clearance. So the engine room will be the main battle today for both teams. We can see them setting up again. Tall men to go at it again as well. Looks like Draper doing the ruck duties. And he hasn't really had the favourable matchup against his matchup with Penny, although show makers in the ruck in this instance. Actually found a way to clear it forward. Tea Tree Gully player rolled the head back, no free kick. Ball taken to turf. Ball stays on the turf momentarily, but still being fought for. Aggressive tackling pressure from Brighton. In fact, it's going to be called holding the ball. Not sure if there was too much prior opportunity in that, but the umpire obviously saw something that we couldn't see up here from the stands. We'll give the Bombers an opportunity just to slow down a little bit. Murphy. The Gully's under the pump now. Can they stop this transition game? Brighton unsure where to go next though. The next kick important. Doesn't hit a target. Extra numbers in the defence will help them. Spence. He had a bit of involvement early in the first quarter. His defensive presence will be pivotal. Sigel. Well, his best hand pass. Almost called an indirect disposal. Osborne. Sitting on the outside of it, waiting. Bleeding to the umpire for prior opportunity, but the ball continues to squabble. Eventually a moment of fresh air will come as the umpire separates the pack just shy at the pig pen in the middle of the ground.
And the Brighton bog is starting to get bigger in this second term. And we'll have another secondary ball up. So Gully will need another goal pretty quickly. Keep that momentum building. Nice hand pass by Showmakers, finds Cansdale. Cansdale goes out wide, too far from home as Personos. Beautiful deep entry. Should have been a push in the back, not paid. Ball comes to ground. They need that forward line pressure, and that should be a free kick. And it is. And McKay just over commits in his endeavours. And much to the Brighton home crowd, it is a free kick. So looking to regain their structure is Brighton. This could be a turnover here. Personos in the box seat, punched away from him. And we'll have a throw it right in front of the Bianca pizza. Sounds like an interesting pizza, the Bianca special. So game in an interestingly poised position. We're almost 8.5 minutes down, second term. Ball thrown in, 35 from home for Tea Tree Gully. Interesting tap, goes inboard was Penny. And we'll have a throw up 40 metres from home for Tea Tree Gully.
Coming back into dangerous territory. The next stoppage important. Zach Mackay was held up. The umpire will hold him up further. Just taking a look at the clock, it looks like we're approaching the 9-minute mark. Ooh, early tackle from Chris Broadbent, and the umpire gave him an award as such.
It's almost umpire quick whistle.
Yeah, sometimes it's best to be the early shopper. You'll get that message from different people, although the actual free kick's going to be going to Nigel Osborne, so it must have been a combined tackling effort. He tries to get the switch on. Dane McGarry slows up. Tried to go with the safe chip, but it wasn't so safe in the end. And now Tea Tree have got the numbers. The kick goes wayward though, not Harley's best. It's sent it up. Brighton desperately getting numbers in. Oh, and taken to the ground. Umpire willing to ball it up again, about 35 metres out, directly in front of Tea Tree Gully's goal.
So ball just pinging around at the moment, being maintained inside the forward 50 for Tea Tree Gully. Interesting body work, not seen by the umpire. Could have been a push in the pack, not paid there to Wilson. And umpires finding it difficult as well as the players at the moment. Ball thrown up right on the 50-metre arc. Great tap there by Penny out the back. Can't get his hands on it. There was Cairnsdale. Nice tackle from the back there and should be paid a free kick. So they've ramped up their pressure meter, Tea Tree Gully, in this second term. Good work there by Flynn. Flynn goes a long way inside 50 looking for Penny. No mark taken. Ball comes to ground. Penny tries to do the roving work as well. Almost hear a pin drop here at Brighton. Almost a kicking in danger. He's sort of pulled back on the barrel of the gun there. And a lot of players around this pill. And the umpire, rightfully so, says, "My ball, boys." And we'll throw it up. 14-point margin. Very well poised at this stage.
Tea Tree are doing enough to keep it in this forward line, but not enough to convert from it. Maybe here, the smother attempt. Brighton will still come out with it. Although the kick is wide. Is Miller going to be able to beat the boundary line? It's a big spoil that actually keeps the ball in play. And Miller positioned himself well to try and get a run out, but wasn't quite able to. Ball comes over the boundary line. It'll be thrown back up. Just taking a bit of time to set up here. I reckon the umpire's willing to take a bit more time with these stoppages because he's been getting a lot of them. You'd feel his arm might be getting tired from all the throw-ups and throw-ins. Here's Penny going deep down. No mark. Brighton has still got the numbers. They dropped the ball. There's a little bit of mud to fight through as well as the opposition's presence. Holding the ball cool though. And after all of the hard work to enforce the pressure on the ground, the Gullies will finally be rewarded with a set shot, and a much simpler one than some of the previous attempts, through Jake Robinson.
No, Ollie, let's stay here.
Robinson. A bit of an angle to fight with, but definitely no distance of a substantial amount to cover. And the wet conditions have eased off a little bit. He just sneaks it through. Kept the goal umpire moving. But the result is what counts in the end. And that's a second consecutive goal for the Gullies.
So the burly Justin Robinson, some excellent forward tackling, gets rewarded for effort. And we've just got the timekeepers giving us very informative information. 10 minutes remaining in this second term and 13 down for the second term. And interestingly enough, 8-point margin. So the next goal is imperative for both sides. Penny just starting to get some ascendancy in the ruck, although that one was a falcon. Ball comes to ground, some great work there, almost linking up with Schoenmakers. He can't pick up the ball. King off the ground there was Francis. Kicks out to his left half forward, finds Warner. Warner quickly curls one around the corner, comes to the ground. That man Osborne's had a ton of it early. Sweeps one on side 50 on his left boot. Might beat all comers, and it does. And for the last position out of bounds, it'll be a free kick to Liam Robinson.
Brighton, they win a centre clearance, but it wasn't an easy centre clearance win, so unfortunately didn't favour them too much. They used the far side as best as they could, but even the class of Nigel Osborne couldn't make it work. Bit of pressure on that kick because it didn't hit the target on the fall. But a good mark paid. No, Asbury didn't have the mark paid, so he had to get and go quicker than he would have expected. Do Brighton have the numbers to weave their way around traffic? Not the best of entries from Miller. It'll dribble across. Almost a bit of holding infringement. Osborne trying to apply the pressure. Soccer off the deck, or at least a very weak toe poke. I'm sure he tried to get two hands to it. Got two hands to the tackle. The bull up eventually called. Brighton were almost out there because the transition play from Teachery Gully almost fell apart. The Bombers, with ball closing in on their territory. Segal hits it down, applies the tackle. Umpire rewards him for the tackle, or is it going the other way? No, it's going their way, but it's actually going to Rickley O'Loughlin. We also haven't called too much of him today. This could be his moment, though, because he's taken a bit of time to walk back. In fact, I think he might like the set shot here. Not sure if his reputation is known for a long kicking style. From the set shot. Almost got too close to the man on the mark. It's coming back, not enough. And it didn't even make the roost anyway. Spoiled over for a minor score. Brighton. Opportunity gone, slightly wayward.
So Brighton are looking to lock this ball inside their forward 50. After Teacher Galley had most of the momentum. Oh, it's a shocking kick off the boot. And just landed straight on the chest of Harley. Sorry, on the chest of Tarka. So Tarka, very impressive debut for the Brighton Bombers, and he'll line up for his third. So a shocking kick out of full-back, just slid off the full-back's foot. Straight on the chest of Tarka. He lines up for his third. He's been very impressive on debut. Tarka from 45. Bit of left to right action. Beautiful. And that's a celebrations Thirsty Camel. Potential goal of the week there. And Tarka slots through his third. And a much needed goal for the Brighton Bombers on the Sportal scoreboard, which reads Brighton Bombers 5-4, 34 and a 15-point margin again. Teacher Gully 3-1-19.
Tell you what, Jake Tarka is an early candidate for the Beanie and Archie Thongs Award because he's kicked 3 in the first half. He could be on track for more, and he could really start something special for Brighton because they're playing a special brand today. Not out of it yet though. Teachery had a good 10 minutes or so during this quarter, but it's fallen apart a little bit. Approaching the 17-minute mark. Plenty. Goes back to go forward through Tate. Tate kicks it long, out to the far side. Wanted Illingworth. He keeps it alive along the line. Tried to use the asset of Francis. Francis' kick not too great though. The Gullies cut it off. If they want to get the switch on, they've got Robertson vacant on the other side. They're not going to use him though. They'll persist with the wing. Looking at other options. That one didn't hit the target on the fall, so Brown maybe had to rush the kick a little bit. He turned it over as a result. Bastian fought his way through traffic. They get a forward entry here. They've got a crummer on goal side. An empty goal square, and it bounces through. What a goal. What a finish. Jared Miller hits back for Brighton.
So some excellent work there by Miller, who's already 90, kicks his 10th for the season. Geez, didn't he love a celebration for Thirsty Camel, the goal of the week. So it's been an excellent arm wrestle, and we suggested pre-game that 10 goals would be the winning score. Well, with this dry conditions, both teams are making hay while the sun is not shining, but wide dry conditions. And it's back out to a 21-point lead on the Sportal scoreboard. McNeely in the ruck. Goes out and he tries to tackle straight away. and that was Wheatra. Nice kick out of that line there. And the umpire's found a free kick. It'll be given to Miller. Can he kick two inside a minute? There's some sort of confusion amongst the players as well. And Warner, who's had a fantastic first half, he'll line up for his second. So I think it's his third shot on goal. He pulled one to the right in the first term. And he's going to kick right on the paint again. Kicks from 49. Not going to get the distance this time around. Pack forms, no mark taken. And trickles out for a rush behind. And it's 6-5, 41. Plays 3-1-19 on the small scoreboard. 20-minute mark, second term.
One more goal Bombers' way and it could put immense pressure on the Gullies. Could almost be game determining, and we don't say that lightly this early, but you haven't seen Tea Tree put together a big purple patch like this one the Bombers are doing right now for all of the year. Dangerous tackle. Dame McGarry with the free kick. High looping drop punt isn't going to do too much good for the forwards. It might go through the Crummers. Little flick out hand pass there. Wheatra around the body. It was 2-on-1, but then the extra Crummer across the body almost there for Jake Tucker looking for his fourth goal. Just went across the face. I tell you what, that would have brought the house down, and maybe a couple more around the suburb.
So this is where Tea Tree Gully have been falling down the last 5 or so minutes. Looking for some targets to work with up the field. They've found one here. Nice work. They've done that reasonably easy. We've got one out wide if they get a switch on. As you'll see, Tucker trail down. They do go for the switch. Can they pull it off? They've got players on. They decide to go through inboard. Tick smothered. Could be an easy turn if it goes back the other way. Kick inside 50. Really rushed opportunity. 1-on-2. Good work at ground level there by the Gullies. Ball comes out. Plenty of Brighton Bombers at ground level. Nice work there by Higgins. Pushed out there. No free kick given. And a good hand pass there. The ball smut off the boot of Cairnsdale. Still trying hard here, the Gullies. Can they make an opportunity out of nothing? And it's no one home. As Brighton Bombers should clear from defence. And a fantastic mark on that last line. So they play on, and you don't see that very often. Touch on the ground instead of a bounce. Ball comes out to our broadcast side. No mark taken then by Miller. Ball comes out towards Luke Brown. He bangs it inside the 199 game player for the Adelaide Crows. No mark taken by Penny. And the ball, the umpire says, I'll throw it up, lads. 35 from home for Tea Tree Gully.
The Gullies have got it back where they want it. They haven't been using it how they'd like to. Bombers. Rough clearance. Lands with Asprey. He's had a bit of intercept defensive work in this quarter. He's had to because of the amount of times he's been going down the other way. There's a push out. It's going Tea Tree's way as the ironical cheers from the Tea Tree Gully fans go up. It's going to go to, yes, it will go to their ruckman, Lake Penny. He's had a lot of importance in the middle today, but can he be a kicker for goal? Very favourable angle, slightly demanding distance, but a big man can normally kick big kicks. "22 and a half minutes gone. Oh. Gee, the smell on that was incredibly ugly. Only a minor score. Not going to do them too much good at this stage.
So rain beginning to trickle down at a timely opportunity here for the home team. They're side up by 22 points on the Sportals scoreboard. Approaching time on second term. Strong tackling. Good work there by Miller. Bit of a stalemate at ground level. As O'Loughlin's held up. And the umpire will throw it up at true centre wing. Penny gets a tap down. Player playing for a free kick and he's found it. So some smart craft there. And Personoff will get the 25. So Peter Persanoff, smart footballer. You'll get taken. You'll have to kick from outside the paint. Umpire's got the man on the mark at 50. I don't know if Persanoff's got the distance in the leg with this heavy pill. He hits it to the hot spot, looking for Penny. He's out of position. Ball comes to ground. McKay already got one on the board. He's drilled it. So Alex McKay kicks a much needed goal for Tea Tree Gully. And we'll get them back into the game. It's starting to slide there for a moment. And on the Sportal scoreboard, it is 6-6, 42. And a 16-point margin. And a bearable margin at that. Tea Tree Gully 4-2-26. Been an interesting arm wrestle this quarter.
It's a sigh of relief for Tea Tree fans because one more goal the other way and it really could have slipped away from them. But they stay in touch and the opportunity for a game-saving purple patch still exists. Ball come back to the middle. It's marked. Cody Tape. Haven't called too much of him. It's a good-looking kick, though. It's an effective forward 50 entry. Blazing out of the middle. Tea Tree can get another late goal here if they're good enough. Most taking a fair run back off his line. Jake Robinson. Haven't called too much of him today, but he's another who could kick a pivotal time goal. And his second. Late in the quarter, he pulled it a bit tight, too tight in the end. Another missed opportunity for the Gullies. They've been piling on late momentum, but just haven't been converting on the scoreboard.
So final minute of this first half. And that could have been a really good momentum shifter for the Tea Tree Gully boys. Oh, there's an opportunity on. McKay's there, should have got given the hand pass. Doesn't matter. They've slotted it through. There's that Luke Brown that's come out of there. Wow. Oh, I didn't see who was the actual goal scorer, but it was a huge rush. And these kickouts are proving costly for both teams. So 30 seconds remaining according to the timekeeper, and a huge goal going into time on here. The last 30 seconds of the first half. Unbelievable scenes here. It's back to 9 points.
Haven't been scoring too much from turnovers like that. Normally Brighton have got a good setup for it, but when it's so sudden and so polarising, it's difficult to expect. Tackle from Nigel Osborne was early, so umpire will ball it up early. 6 goals, 6 to 5 goals, 3. 26 minutes, 40 seconds gone. An important clearance for the Bombers. Can they get one late to hit back? Doesn't bounce favourably for Warner. Tea Tree clear it out. Only for the moment, a pack forms, no mark comes out of it. The Gullies trying to find some crummers. A few go in, none of them pick it up cleanly. And that will do us. The second quarter ends as we go into half-time after a blitz almost came from the Bombers, but the Gullies held in, got 2 late goals, 6 goals, 6, 42 to 5 goals, 3, 33. A very exciting match we have. We're going to take a break now, but stay tuned. This game is far from over.
Very nice. I'm just going to peek down and see who did that last goal.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the toilet.
The temperatures they do. Usually the last
We're not doing any half-time thing, are we? We're just, yeah. on our hands, and after a talk with the coach, a couple of drinks, we should be ready for another half of football. I know myself and Matt definitely are, as all spectators clearing off the ground, along with a little black pug in the corner we can see there. The lacrosse scoreboard has also changed. So a new game has started there, but we've still got an ongoing game here, an exciting one. Could go anywhere at this point. Comes forward for Tea Tree first. They're not wasting any time trying to sacrifice the momentum that they had in that last term. Neither's this man with Tucker. Ran himself into too much trouble though. The Bombers will clear out in response. Not the most favourable kick. It was down to a 2-on-2. This could be last touch unless someone gets onto it. In fact, they may even sacrifice possession here. It comes out on the boot of a Brighton player. No, of the boot of a Tea Tree player, sorry. So that means Chris Broadbent to boot it back in for the Bombers. Told to play on and go quickly. Probably didn't think the kick through as well as he would have liked. Bounces around, a bit of ricochet off some shins. And Nigel Osborne is wrapped up. Give a little bow to go with it. It's a ball up, still in the centre of the ground.
So Jolly in a 2-on-1, gets the tap down. Could be given hold of the ball. Here it is. Not much prior opportunity there for Dylan Draper. But it's a free kick to Cairnsville, and that's all that matters. So Cairnsville at right half back. Teacher Gully would be primed to kick the first goal. This always been interesting there because Weecher come from nowhere on that mark. Forced him to play on off the chest of Osborne. Streaming through is O'Loughlin. Excellent work. Breaks the tackle at the last second. So does Loy. Haven't called his name that often this afternoon. And it is in the back. So a free kick here to Joshua Spence with the long sleeves. So Spence, close to the man on the mark. Gets a decent kick inside 50. McNeely's pushed off the ball. No free kick paid. Comes to the ground. And there's a fortuitous hand pass and a chain now. Comes out to Francis. Francis comes out to our broadcast side. Early leap there was Chalmers. No mark taken. Comes out to Wilson. Wilson gets the ball inside 50. No mark taken. And it should be McGarry. And all the numbers are with Tea Tree Gully. And a solid mark there by Liam Robinson.
Rodson to reset for the Gullies. Oh, almost a little bit of high infringement. There was. Umpire called it late. Jordan Weecher comes in. Yeah. Delay in the call. There might be another high infringement call here. There will be. Once again going the way of the Bombers. Dylan Draper takes his time. Just a little short safe chip. Jack Chalmers to the outside. There's a bit of a progressive build-up here, you feel like, for the Bombers. Can they consolidate in the forward line? Off the boot of Francis. Pat goes up, favoured by Tea Tree numbers. But taken to ground. And taken to ground well by the Bombers. The pressure is still very much up as the rain just starts to come down a little bit, Matt.
Good work there by Penny. Grabs it out of the ruck. Comes out to McKay. It's a clever hand pass out wide. I've got one on over the top here. Can't pick up the ball there was Jake Robinson. He decides to go off the ground. He overruns it. Smart work there by McGarry. Hands it off and a puncher. Not fortuitous there. Ball comes through. Good work there by Broadbent. Now he's found someone in the middle. Terrific kick. Lands on the chest of Osborne. Osborne switches the play to Higgins. Still got time on his side, or does he? Kicks off the ground. Probably should have gone again. And this could be game on here. Personos running back with the flight of the ball. He's in and out of the position. Doesn't give away the free kick. Good pressure there by Personos. And they should clear here, Brighton. They've got a couple on in the middle.
Oh, that was almost a dangerous turnover in the middle there that came from the efforts of Higgins, but it was saved by a really nice combined effort in the defence there. Started with the kick from Murphy. And now it's come all the way back down. Forward front position, but not quite getting clean hands to it. Jake Tucker, who's looking for goal number 4 and possibly more. 3 in that first half. You'd hope he can conjure up something. So look at the far end. Lights are coming on. That's how dark it is. Gloomy clouds loom over the oval. Potentially more rain to come. Conditions getting colder. It's not getting any easier for either team out there, but they're still going to turf. Now the run from Illingworth and the finish from the top shelf. Brighton get the jump.
So Illingsworth stamps his authority to get the proceedings underway in this third term for Brighton. And on the Sportal scoreboard, it gives them a handy buffer, 7-6, 48, 5-3, 33. 15-point margin brought to you by Sportal. And an interestingly poised second half we have coming up here. Smart play, Illingsworth. Beautiful snap. And all the momentum with the home team as the rain starts to get slightly heavier. And goals become like diamonds. Penny gets his hands on it, pushes it out wide towards those two wingmen who've come in pretty quickly. Gets to the hands there. Oh, beautiful punch away there at half-back, I think, by the defending Robert. Oh, and he's gone off the ground. It's in danger. Or is he? He's taking his legs out. So, interesting free kick. And I think this umpire's, he's backed up the B grade with the A grade. Should land on the chest there of Plenty. And he's been doing plenty. So Jake Plenty at the broadcast side goes with the torpedo.
Opportunity looms, and, well, just as soon as we say that, opportunity gone by for Plenty. Not the best of his kicks. One he'd like to forget. Hopefully the result won't be as penalising as he fears. Oh, nearly taken off the ball there. Without it was O'Loughlin. Instead he's going to have to go back in. The umpire calls the ball up, and a bit of shove there, as you can see. The players just clenching at each other's shirts. You can feel there's a bit of aggression starting to creep into this game as well. And it's one way to keep warm out there, to get steam coming out of the ears. Teatree clear it out. Oh, mark opportunity missed there by Loy. Kind of went for the spoil and it didn't come off properly. Here's a tight kick. How's it going to bounce? It'll stay in. Brighton trying to retaliate with tackle pressure, but Mackay gets it off to Penny, who tried to go forward, but not his best kick. It's actually soccered off the deck there by Segal. That's a huge soccer off the deck. And maybe safest in these conditions. You can see how hard it is to get a clean pickup. But there's an opportunity here. Smother! What a potentially forward 50 entry saving smother that was. Can it lead to a forward 50 entry around the other end? Let's find out and see. Ricky O'Loughlin around the corner. Not to the advantage of his numbers. And a bit of chop at the arm infringement is going to go the other way. Teatree will find a man in an uncontested position and just take a breath.
Great calling there by Indiana and Rogers. So Teatree Gully got one on him board. Can't take the mark. These marks are imperative. Maintaining positions, high priority for both teams. Ball comes out wide there to Higgins. Been busy in this third term. Pops one over the top. It's not going to be 15. Fresh face there is Asprey. Good work there by Asprey. Deserved a free kick. Umpire too far away.
and of course a very good co-commentator of mine today. I've really enjoyed working with him for the first time. Matt, it's shaping up to be a very exciting last quarter.
Well, it's going to go down to the wire. Only 2 goals in it, and probably the biggest margin into a main break. So it's all before us, Cindy.
Brett Backwell and Justin Machado, they would have been long speeches at three-quarter time, you reckon? I'd be surprised if they didn't at least do most of the talking. Final term. Game almost on the line for both teams at this stage. Brighton looking to try and keep their season alive, and Tea Tree looking to keep in touch with the rest of the finals contenders. Big match shaping up. Push in the back. Paid is going to go the other way, so this will be a free kick for Jack Chalmers. We've seen a little bit of him. Hasn't been the man of the day, but winning any sort of clearance is always a win for yourself. Wellesby was wrestled really well there. His opponent didn't take the mark. Trying to get through traffic. Paid high and happy to just slow up and take that free as well. I reckon that was Jack Francis. We'll get another look at that, but this will be another set shot opportunity for Brighton early on just to sell the nerves a bit. It won't be. It'll actually be Jake Tarker, so he missed an extra digit on his back, and this is the man who really set the tone of the game when they had a good purple patch in that second quarter. He's been a little bit quiet since, but still one of the main contenders for the beanie. It's a good time to shine. For goal number 4. It's a little shaky. It makes it. No. Oh, just touched on the line. So agonizingly close.
So there's a beanie breaker for Jake Tarker. We're just speaking off air, looking for our 3-2-1 for the Player of the Year award. Oh, great smother. Interesting work to play on, all before him now. Good recovery there from Tyler Martin. Bangs it outside of his defensive 50. Umpires found a free kick. Fortunately for Tea Tree Gully, it's gone on their favour. So an interesting kick-outs. We've seen about 4 or 5 this afternoon. Both sides having some difficulties kicking long. And that's the option you've got to use out from full-back on these wet weather conditions. Finds Penny. He's been very industrious, the big man today. Been the best big man on the ground, that's for sure. They got a kick inside 50, looking for an early goal in the final term. McKay's out the back. Won't find its way to him, or will it? And it trickles off the hands of all comers. Ball will be thrown in about 15 from home for Tea Tree Gully. We look to get some early injection on the scoreboard. So Brighton Bombers have made every post a winner at every break. 9 points at quarter time, 9 at the half, and a 12-point margin at the final break. 13 points is the margin at the moment on the Sportal scoreboard. 3rd minute of this final term. Nice kick out of the defensive 50 from Brighton. It comes out towards Warner. Had a busy first half. Had some excellent shots on goal so far, Warner. And the ball will trickle out of play at centre wing.
3 minutes gone already. Not too much has happened. Although Jake Tarker getting our hopes up was probably the most notable thing in this quarter so far. Still a 13-point game. 4th quarters have been won by even bigger margins than this. There's a comeback yet to ensue, or will Brighton re-establish their dominance? They cough it up. I think that was Penny taking the kick. Ricochets, lands back with the Gullies. Going to work with their men again. Alex Mackay, not his best effort, but he'll try and work with his men. They get it forward 50 entry. It's 2-on-1. They just need to tap it down, and that's exactly what the Bombers did, but maybe not as effectively as they would have liked. Does goal side go to Robinson? No, he's got to hold it up. The Bombers force him to, and then they force it out wide. Almost a kick in danger back there. Lots of bodies piling in on the Sharon. Eventually the umpire is forced to separate everyone from the chaos and throw the ball back up. Probably only 20 metres out from the goal, you'd reckon, for the Gullies. Another ball up called. Stoppage after stoppage. That could be the name of this quarter. A little slow up as it comes back in. Umpire willing to take extra time for this next ball up. So after a handy break, throws it up again. Bombers with the tap down, but the clearing kick there from Martin. Tried to do something miraculous. That would have been goal of the day if he got it, but instead, simply a minor score.
So almost the thirsty come-on goal of the day there. Tyler Martin. Had a fantastic season so far for Tea Tree Gully. Been one of the best players on 5 of 7 outings so far this season. So play on from outside that full-back kicking position. That's the sort of kick you want to kick from full-back. The Gully's under all sorts of duress there on that far side. Managed to maintain position temporarily, and it's going to land straight on the chest there. Oh, it's hard to see from that far, and it's Sigel. So Sigel's been pretty good, the big man, this afternoon. Switches play, lands on another big man's chest in Draper. So Draper been busy around the ground, although defeated in the ruck. Kicked 2 goals against PAC 2 weeks ago. Nice contest there. Ball could come back inside Gully's 50 with a little bit of interest there. Don't have the players around the ball or the desperation for mine, playing for a free kick. Will they get it? And I think there's a free kick for holding the ball. Should be paid in favour. There's a double tackle. It's gone to Schoenmakers. Shouldn't be Schoenmakers. And it should go back. He's going back to Schoenmakers. He goes on his left boot, looking for a courageous captain's goal. It's touched on the line. So Schoenmakers with his best effort.
Could be an important point though. It's down to 11 points. We're 6 minutes in. Still so much time left to kill off. Brighton almost can't afford to play conservative. They still need to load on a couple more scores before they can really control the game. They wanted to go with a long kick there just to clear some space, and there's a last touch here because it came off the boot of a Brighton player. T2 will get it back, although it looks like Joshua Spence is the one who'll have to climb over the fence for it. He's tried a couple times to jump over, and instead he just says, you know what, I'll fetch to the nearest car mate to fetch it out for me, and that's probably the best thing to do for my hammies. Best not to jump the fences here. They're very well built here at Brighton.
Thank you to the grandma on the far side for retrieving the ball.
Yep, kudos. Far kick going in. Big spoil coming out from Dylan Draper, but there's a call. It's going to be a free kick going Tea Tree's way. And almost a 25, but Alex Mackay will instead be taking the shot from outside the arc unless he's daring to get close enough to the man on the mark. We're yet to have a goal in this fourth quarter. He decides to hand it over the top. No, sorry. Kick it over the top, I should say. And it just went the required 15 to justify another mark. Now, I reckon this is Joshua Spence at the far end of the ground. So that's actually got better eyes than me. So in the scoreboard pocket. Didn't really improve the angle, although at least he'll be able to have his kick from within the arc. 8 minutes gone. Getting later in the afternoon. That shot is remarkable. And it's back to a 5-point game.
And the silence is deafening here at Brighton Oval, with Joshua Spence kicking his third second half goal. Superb move by Machota, moving his magnet from defence up to the forward line, and he has been a match winner thus far, but still plenty of time for either side to take this victory this afternoon. So smart work there by Mackay, chipped inside 50 to Spence, difficult shot, slotted it through with ice in his veins. Ball comes out there to Schoenmakers. He's just getting more and more of the pill as the game progresses. Comes out to the wing. Nice mark there by Tape. So Tape looking for an option inside 50. He's got Mackay on. He's gone into the pocket by himself. Ball comes to the pocket to McNeely. Comes to the ground to Mackay. Zach Variety. Bit of an area there by the Brighton defender. Goes inside. Beautiful smother. Excellent smother. And a gang tackle should result in a ball up. Right half forward for Tea Tree Gully. Almost 10 minutes gone, final term. Good tap there by both ruckmen. Ball comes to ground. Players diving in. Desperation stakes at its best. Trickles through the middle. Wheatra meets the ball. Clean hands by Wheatra. Dishes out the back to Osborne. Osborne's got a player on wide. Goes to Wellesby instead. Chipped off by Penny. Bit of an aerial ping pong. And it goes back to Osborne at left half back.
Ball changing from possession to possession like a yo-yo, constantly going back and forth one way and another. Last touch is going to go Teachery's way and continue that trend. They've got an opportunity here. Long kick coming out. Oh, almost a mark as well. The rain has died off a little bit, but it continues to get chilly and lots of fog, as you can see in the background with those hills. Umpire will call a ball up just shy of the boundary line. 5-point game, 10.5 minutes gone. Spectators getting anxious over the way this one could shape up. And that's a very brave mark. Sliding in, Dane McGarry. That time the slippery turf may have worked to his advantage to get there in time. At least he judged his jump very well. Goes with a longer kick. Oh, didn't quite hit the intended target, but there was another one waiting on the other side. Holding the ball, though, didn't dispose of it correctly in time. Teachery to get it back. Once again, the trend continuing of swapping from possession to possession. I think it's Dylan Wilson on the far end of the ground taking the kick. Spoil coming over the top there and forcing itself to the boundary line once again, back in the scoreboard pocket.
So on the scoreboard, 5 points to margin. That's where the ball will be thrown in. Huge arm wrestle here at Brighton Oval. And for those listeners or viewers at home, this game last year on this oval went through with the ball going through the siren for the final margin and the win to Teachery Gully. So there's plenty on the line for this one. And a last possession out of bounds in favour of the home team. Switches on. If they want it, far too risky, so they go down the line. And, geez, it somehow stays in. All players sort of expected the ball to go out. And as the age-old adage says, play to the whistle. And that player certainly did on the far side. Very hard to see all players at the moment giving the fogginess and the lack of vision and the darkness of the ground at this point in time. So 12.5 gone, final term. Next goal could be very, very decisive to see who wins this clash. Draper's had an inspirational quarter, leaping at everything like a man possessed. Ball comes to ground, hit hard there by O'Loughlin. And the ball should be thrown up, so stoppage after stoppage, and it's a real arm wrestle. We should see this ball slowly move its way towards the Brighton goals. So some high tackling, good scoop out there by McKay, the junkyard dog. Some strong tackling, we'll go unrewarded. We'll have another throw up, right half forward for Teachery Gully.
Just the one goal in this quarter so far to Joshua Spence, which takes him up to 3 for the match, we should add, and he's now actually on par with Jake Tarker. But a free kick's going Teachery's way. Could a fourth loom for someone? Oh, what a kick. Beautiful forward conversion there. Managed to find a man on the run and took it on the chest. William Cansdell, who hasn't hit the scoreboard yet. Nearing the 14-minute mark, he has an opportunity to put the Teachery Gully team in front for the first time today. 9 goals 7 to 8 goals 8. The scoreboard reads equal scoring opportunities. That may change well and truly in a moment. Teachery have certainly come out the better team in this particular quarter. Fans hoping that he misses, and they get their wish for the moment. It's just a 4-point game now. 8 goals 9 to 9 goals 7. The intensity retains itself.
So Brighton needs some clean possession and maintain that position as well. So long kick, penetrating kick outside the defensive 50 from the kick out. Beautiful looking kick. Ball comes to ground, some terrific smother. The pressure meter's up for both teams, which is terrific to see. And we'll have another stoppage by the looks of it. Right, ball trickles out the back, whacked on the boot. First of the balls there is Teacher Gully. So all the players there and a bit of a smother which has held the ball up. And we should see Andrews throw in about 70 from home for Teacher Gully. So that all important next goal. And my buddy bet of both teams under 10 goals could come to fruition. So 16-minute mark, final term. A sense of quietness here at Brighton. Some strong tackling from both teams. Good fend off. Can they get it inside forward 50? Is for a call for a last possession. And we do have a last possession in favour of the Brighton Bombers.
They've barely been able to conjure up a forward 50 entry this entire quarter, Brighton. Will it come in a time of great need? Not this time. Taken back in by Personons, the other Personos brother. The one up forward is looming. Brighton trying to clear space. Oh, important smother. It'll get the ball back. Luke Brown. Beautiful kick to a wise option. William Canstill. Will he take another shot at goal? From virtually the same position, he's slowing up. Indecisive. Eventually he chooses to go to a lead to the pocket. And what a spoil that was towards the line. Could have saved a set shot opportunity there. Ty Murphy. Take a bow. Maybe not so much right now. There isn't much time to take one. 16.5 minutes gone. Ball thrown into play. Tapped down by Brighton. Crumbed by Teatree though. Luke Brown managed to dish off a quick hand pass underneath. Brighton numbers following through, taking the ball to turf. It's very difficult to get this one out of the stoppage.
So some strong tackling there by Captain Showermakers, leading from the front. Brilliant tap there by Penny. Puts it in a dangerous position. There's a free kick. And this could be a game changer. And we hear the oh-no's in the background. And we're not sure who's got the recipient of that free kick at this stage. Could be Pistol Personos. He's rubbed the ball on the back of his teammate's Guernsey. It is Personos. So Personos with 12 goals for the season, 13 after kicking one in the second term, looking for his second and his 14th for the season, and his most important for the season. Personos, 20 metres straight in front, slots it. And unbelievably, Teatree Gully hit the front for the first time this afternoon. 18 minutes down, final term, 9-7 plays 9-9, 2 points in favour of Teatree Gully. And she's game on. She's on like Donkey Kong at the Brighton Oval.
Goal number 14 for the year for Peter Personos. He's had to get them in uncharacteristic ways today. And uncharacteristically for today, Teatree Gully in front for the first time. 7 minutes left. What we've heard from the people up here in the very faithful Brighton stand. Suddenly they had to come from behind for the first time. It's been cleared out the other way by Teatree. That's the result that they would have wanted. It's going to go back into their arc. Jack Asbury with the kick, but it's been intercepted. Can Brighton conjure up something from the defensive half? They haven't done it this whole quarter. The frustration in the coach's box and with the fans is begging for it. That long kick won't do them too much good, but it will be marked. Jared Miller goes with another long kick to the one-on-one. Wheatra, no mark, takes it to turf and maybe has to savour it for a moment. No, it's called owning the ball. Very harsh call from the umpire. There's not much he could have done there.
So very trigger happy, the umpire. And unfortunately it's gone in against the home team. Switch of play there to, looks as though it's to Martin. So Martin goes out to that far side where most of the play's been played this quarter. Ball comes out there towards McNeely, can't take the mark. And Brighton come back inside 50. This could be last possession out of bounds. Wellesby tries to keep it in with his best efforts with the slide. No M&D slide here today at Brighton Oval. That was a magnificent slide by Wellesby. And the umpire brings Wellesby back on the mark. Hasn't seen much of the pill this afternoon. Wellesby being well held. So an up and under kick goes towards Penny. Can't take the mark. Been impressive today, the big man. Comes towards Zach McKay. Osborne should get it back. Nice hit. Kicks over his shoulder. Oh, there is Osborne, sorry. So Osborne right in the heart of the Brighton Oval. Needs a great kick there to Tarker. Tarker can't make the mark. He's been dangerous all afternoon. O'Loughlin needs to get back on his bike. Does now. Ball's given up. Comes out there to Zach McKay. Zach McKay goes inside 50. Not much home, but a great mark. Tell you what, Luke Brown. Get on down, get on up. And Luke Brown with 189 game. No, it's not Brown, it's Persinos. So Persinos stepping up to the plate when it matters. Kicked the previous goal, Persinos. This distance might test him with a heavy ball. A little bit tougher from this side of the angle for a left footer. Deliberate approach. He's already pulled it to the right. Might not even register a score. And it goes out of bounds on the fall. So a little bit premature there.
They have to find a way to go coast to coast now. Brighton running out of chances. 21 and a half minutes gone. Match coming down to the wire. A long kick coming out. Can they get it goal side? It goes up. Off of whose boot? Off of a Tea Tree player's boot by the looks of things. 4.5 to go is the word we hear. Jared Miller taking a while to get it back. That'll give time for Tea Tree to set up defensively. Now he's indecisive, but he's got to go with the long bomb. Can they forge numbers around the pack? No mark taken. It'll be a ball up just outside the arc. 22 minutes gone. Can Brighton snatch back the lead? Ball taken to turf. It'll be another stoppage unless someone can dish it out quickly. Umpire will call another ball up. Again, just outside the arc, approaching the lacrosse club pocket, but not quite there. And that's the story. Not quite there yet for Brighton. They've done so much right today, but it all pens down to these last few minutes if they can justify getting the points on the ladder. Kick coming out was clearing, and Blake Higgins has to see it over the boundary line. So they lose a bit of territory. There's only a few minutes left.
So ball to be thrown in at centre wing. And the arm wrestle continues. Definitely silence here at Brighton Oval. The home team just losing the lead in the last few minutes. They'll need to steer them home, the home crowd. Penny with a massive thump out of the ruck. Tries to dish it off, and she's clamps on. So 55 from home. Next goal wins. Simple as that. Ball thrown up. Nice tap there by Bastion by the look of it. And the ball's in the territory. There's a ton of tacklers out there for Brighton. So the desperation stakes are risen. Pressure meters right up on both teams. 3 minutes and a bit of small change left. And not much happening there. And we'll have another repeat ball up. Right half forward here for Tea Tree Gully. Umpire's found a free kick here, and it will go in the favour of the home team. So it looks like Bastion, 2 minutes 40 remaining is the call. He goes with the torpedo. Interesting choice. Trickles out the back. Goes McKay. It's the man they want the ball in. Could have been a free downfield, not paid, but we'll come back. So Brighton need to move it on. Goes the torpedo. No, the drop punt this time goes out towards Wellesby. Been unsighted for most of today. Comes to ground. They do have numbers here, Brighton. Kicks it inside 50. Need a mark. One-hander! Now, there's Ubienko, mark of the week contender. Unbelievable one-hander. He's already got one hand on the beanie. And that is that man, Tarka. So Tarka, can he seal the game? He'll definitely seal the man of the match on as if he can. First game for the club. 30 metres out. Needs the slot. This he has! And there's an eruption at Brighton Oval on the spoiler scoreboard. 10-7, 67. 10-7, 67 to 9-9, 63. 4 points. What an absolute ripper at Brighton Oval.
Unbelievable stuff. Jake Tarker's kicked his 4th goal for the match in a time of absolutely pivotal need.
Come on, Brighton! Come on, Bobby!
25 and a half minutes gone. This could be the last centre bounce for the game. Teatree did so much right this quarter, but Brighton in one moment takes it back. There is 90 seconds left on the clock. If you're not viewing this match, then you've got to view it now. Osborne with the pivotal clearance could say to territory. No mark for Aaron Warner. It'll be toe poked forward. It'll come back in. Looping drop punt. They'll get numbers to it. And the mark is paid to Jared Miller. He only needs to take his full 30, and that could just about do the game. Under a minute left is the word we hear. 10 goals, 7, 67, 9 goals, 9, 63. Dagger in the heart to lock it shut. Kicking from the lacrosse club pocket. Ball's been there a lot today. It won't make the journey. Wellesby wanted it to be his moment. Wanted with the step around. Oh, it's marked on the line. No, it's called touch. Now it's a 5-point game. They want to go straight down the spine. Can they get it there? They got extra numbers, Brighton. This defensive setup. Wide kick. Oh, it's been marked. Oh, it's called play on. Now Jack Plenty with the clearing kick from up back. No mark paid, but Teatree trying to weave it forward desperately. But they'll be halted. The defensive setup from Brighton reigns supreme. And the siren goes! 10 goals, 8, 68 to 9 goals, 9, 63. What a finish here at Brighton Oval. Easily the match of the week. And we hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. A 5-point win for the Brighton Bombers. They keep their season alive. And fans are exhilarating.
Well, cool.
Still on here. So, it's been a magnificent spectacle this afternoon. Just while we're waiting for the players to go and handshake each other, we'll go to the goal kicks, which we haven't done this afternoon. Now, Jake Tarker will probably take the best on ground honours with 4 goals. Scintillating display. 2 to Jared Miller. Stamped his authority in the second half. Takes him to 11 goals for the season. Singles to Illingsworth, Higgins, Plenty, Warner. And for Teatree Gully, 3 goals in the second half to Joshua Spence. He was a great move up forward. Peter Personoff with Dangerous with 2 goals. The ever reliable and courageous Alex McKay with 2. Luke Brown with 1. And Jake Robinson also with the single. So, exhilarating game. Absolute nail-biter. No fingers left here with yours truly, Matt Gale. Very well played there. And I'll tell you what, Indy, that's probably, if we don't get another game like that this year, that was absolutely scintillating.
Yeah, it's a massive privilege to be calling this game, and it's a great game to work with you for the first time, Matt. I've really enjoyed having you here, and we thank everybody for tuning in and watching the Make Sure Ratify sponsored game day stream here at Brighton Oval. Of course, we thank Jamie here for doing all of the hard yards and getting everything set up for us to bring you this live broadcasting coverage. And we also like to thank everyone for tuning in today. Of course, if you want to catch the 3 at the end of the year for the Roll the Dice Media of the Player Award, but we're in unison when we say the beanie and thongs today will go to Jake Tarker because he was the best player and the match winner, more importantly. Lee. This will definitely be remembered as his particular afternoon, and an afternoon to savour for the Brighton Bombers. But we thank you all for joining, and we look forward to bringing you more game day coverage for the Adelaide Footy League in the coming weeks.